I wanted to run this by you. Listen to this, because you've noticed Steve Kerr at every turn. We're a championship team. This team can win a championship. We've got the championship. We just championship. And I'm like,
we be championship?
Why do you keep saying that? Who are you talking to? We don't need to hear that. Do your guys need to hear that? Does the GM need to hear it? Does ownership need to hear it? Even though you're 10-12? I don't know. And then there's another question to ask, which is, do we believe that Steve actually believes that? Because listen to this. Let's start with this commentary right here on 95.7 The Game from last year when he was asked if they could defend their title. This is in February. Can you defend your title?
I do. I do feel strongly about that. And the only thing that we're worried about is getting ready for these last 24 games and trying to get guys healthy. And if we can put ourselves in a position where we are healthy, with Steph and Gary coming back, I like what I'm seeing. I like the way Clay's playing. I like the way Wiggs has played. The last few games, Dante's had an amazing second half of the season. So we got guys playing well. We just got to put it all together, and I really believe that we can do that.
We haven't been able to use the word DiVincenzo, for a while.
Restaurant quality.
Little Dante reference there. But there's Steve in February. Sure, we can win a title. Yeah, like the way this is heading, I think we can defend our title.
Yeah, they got 38% of the way there last year.
The second they lost to the Lakers in Game 6.
How many road games did we win? 11. You go 11-30 on the road during the regular season. That's not what championship teams do. So it felt like all season we were desperately trying to recapture, what we had last year. And we did a pretty damn good job of finding something here over the last month. I think we won our last 5 or 6 regular season games to come back from 2-0 against a hell of a Sacramento team and to give this Laker team the fight that we did, be in this competition. We came close to recapturing what we had, but we didn't quite get there. So in my mind, we didn't feel like a championship team all year, but we had the guts and the fortitude to still believe, and we made pretty good push. We just couldn't get there.
So what do you think? In February, yep, we can win a championship. Right. As soon as they lose, didn't feel like we were a championship team all year long.
Well, he's right in both things because he said in the first cut you played, we got 24 games to put it together, and he felt like at that time that they were still a championship team, and then over the next 24, they didn't play well enough to where you got into the playoffs and you had to fight and scratch and claw to beat Sacramento, and then the Lakers were just better than you, and you didn't have an answer for their bigs and Anthony Davis, and that's just the way that went. Lonnie Walker IV took you out.
But he said all year it didn't feel like a championship team.
Right.
After saying in February that we do think it can be a championship team.
I don't know what we're expecting him to say.
No, right. I'm not trying to pin him into and making a liar out of him. But it's relevant now because we're also getting a lot of this from after the game in OKC on Friday.
Yeah, turnovers and fouls. I can just repeat it every game if you want. I mean, it's turnovers and fouls. That's what it comes down to. So, the fact is, we're playing one of the best teams in the league on their floor. We're good enough. We're good enough to win a championship. I believe that. This team. But if we're going to just turn it over and throw the ball to the other team and foul over and over, then we're going to lose. We know the formula. We just controlled that whole game on the road against a great team. That's our game. So, turnovers and fouls.
Yeah, so
it sounds to me like he's trying to convince himself in order to convince his team. We're good enough. Guys, we're good enough.
Right.
We're good enough. I'm telling you, we're good enough. But turnovers and fouls. I've said it over and over.
But who needs to hear that? Who do you think on the team needs to hear that?
I think they all need to hear that.
You do? You think
yes.
Steph Curry needs to be convinced that they're a championship caliber team?
Yes. I don't think that he needs to be convinced that they once were a championship caliber team, but he needs to know and be convinced that this team is a championship caliber team. This team is doing things that we've never seen before. They're blowing multiple 20-point leads, and they're making completely absent-minded, silly, if not stupid mistakes at the end of games to cost them basketball games.
Here's what I wonder if I actually think Steph might be one of the only people he's not talking to, because that guy's got it. He's fine. Like, well, honestly.
But he's showing frustration unlike anything we've seen.
He's frustrated because I think the same things that frustrate Steve Kerr. I think there are too many people right now that are kind of on their own journey. Compare this to the 49ers. What have we been complimenting them about so much lately?
Selflessness.
There you go. Right? Why don't the Niners receivers get upset when the other receiver gets a touchdown? When Debo scores his 5th time in 2 games, Brandon Ayuk comes sliding in like he's on a wet banana. He's excited. Nobody cares who gets the whatever. Meantime, here come the Warriors, where Klay Thompson is battling the self-journey of getting himself back. Andrew Wiggins is battling the who knows what of being Andrew Wiggins. Jonathan Kuminga is battling the do I get to play or not? Maybe Moses Moody is too. And Steve is over here trying to tell people, as long as you guys keep doing that, we're not going to win. But if you guys can figure out how to make this a we thing instead of a me thing, then yes, you have everything you need. You just need to do it a certain way.
But it's tough to make it a we thing when so many people are worried about their own me.
Absolutely.
And it starts with Klay. And, Draymond, I think, is in a great place in terms of what he's doing, but he missed 5 games because he couldn't control his emotions. Chris Paul is fighting father time. And, Andrew Wiggins is in a curious funk now going on a 2nd season where he's not consistent. And the rest of the guys, if you're Kuminga and Moody, you're trying to find your next contract and you're trying to find your real NBA footing. And then Podziemski's a rook and GP2 has been out and Kevon Looney's out there just trying to help people move and help old ladies cross the street. So there isn't enough we because there's too much going on for every individual.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the point.